Eventide has released a new reverb plugin called Temperance Pro, and I think that there's something very interesting going on behind the scenes here. Let's talk about that. Alright, so this is Temperance Pro, which is called the world's most musical reverb. Because that's how marketing works. Temperance Pro speaks a language of music, operating in a 12-note chromatic scale to determine which notes bloom or fade within space. Its expounded control set shapes musical texture, direct movements, and unlocks 29 world-class spaces built entirely on Modal technology. And Modal is what triggered me here. Because apparently what's behind of this, well, 3D looking interface in this picture is some very unique algorithm. And it's something that I haven't seen before. How do I explain this? I think the predecessor of modal reverb is an impulse response. And an impulse response usually is made with a speaker and 2 microphones where you play back a sweep. You know what? Let me just So this room is Sound Vision Studios recording room 1, and this is quite a reverberant room. And I'm going to capture the reverb of this room with an impulse response. I've got a speaker over there. It's an iKey multimedia speaker, and I've got 2 microphones over here in a stereo setup. And the way to capture an impulse response is simply by playing back a sweep through the speaker and then recording what these microphones pick up back into your DAW. Let me quickly gain them. Let's do 36 decibels. All right, let's capture the room. It's a super simple process. And there we go. That's basically all we need. So what I now need to do with the sweep recording is use a plugin like Reverb, but there are other ones, and deconvolve it. So let me load in the sweep. Let me point to the original sweep, and let me give it a location to save this one. Now it basically made a reverb preset from this sweep. Now I'm not expecting wonders from this because it was very suboptimal how I did this. I didn't even use the optimal microphones for this, but just as a demo, here we go. There we go. So we've captured the sound of the room. So we captured the room, but we cannot really tweak anything of that capture. Yes, if I would load this impulse response into the Pro R, as I'm doing right now, I can tweak some things. The Pro R actually has some very cool ways of interacting with an impulse response. Like, we can tweak a lot of things, but what we cannot tweak is the actual reflections that we want to use and do not want to use. Because within an impulse response, we just don't have that information. We don't know how a sound wave has traveled through the room, and thus we cannot tweak it. And this is where modal processing, modal reverb comes in. Now, I'm quite an idiot when it comes to this subject, and it could be that I'm completely wrong now. But from what I understand is that a modal reverb actually can discern from the different reflections in the room. And what it then can do is it can select certain distances that it wants to use and certain distances that it doesn't want to use. And that way you can make your reverb sound more musical, because you can use distances that actually make sense in a musical way. If you think about it, like the length of a string, for instance in a piano, decides the tone that it makes. And with a room, the length of the reflection will generate a certain tone. But because there are so many reflections, it's like chaotic. And with a modal reverb, you can organize this more. Now let me show you this with drums, because I think that actually makes the most sense, because with drums, you're really sending a chaotic signal, tonal chaotic signal in the plugin. So let's first put temper on 0. Let's just first listen to the reverb itself. So this is how the modal reverb sounds. Let's mix it in with the original. Now we can of course, you know, adjust the size and decay and everything, which you can do with normal reverbs as well. Position control is something that is on auto reverbs, but works completely different in a modal reverb. I don't know if this makes any sense. You should play with it yourself. Density and offset, same story. Here. And of course, you might be able to get the same effect by using something in front of this plugin or something. But the way that Eventide is processing it is just super interesting. So that's all cool, but here's the killer feature. Because now we're going to select certain distances within that room to make it more musical. And I've just selected the C major 7 chord here. So with an extra B in there. And we're now going to temper the reverb. So here we go. Got a reverb. Let's temper it. All the way to only using those reflections that make sense in a musical way. And we can go back. We can even go negative. So now we're filtering out all the things that make sense musically, which actually, you know, makes sense whenever you want to fill up spaces with your reverb or something. And of course, there are different ways in which you can do this, but the technology behind this is the interesting part. This is one of these plugins I would really invite you all to play with. Don't, you know, run out there and buy it. Just play with it and see what it can do. What I am really excited about is not necessarily this plugin. It's the technology behind it. And I think it creates a lot of new possibilities and basically a platform for new reverb, new ideas that can now be executed that couldn't be executed before. I'm really excited to see what is coming now, because I think this plugin is only the beginning. So yeah, I'm going to link to this plugin in the description down below. Eventide did send me this plugin, and I also had a call with Eventide to talk through this whole technology thing because I really wanted to understand it better. That being said, they're not sponsoring this video, but I do have an affiliate link, I think. You'll see it in the description down below. I'll make sure to disclose it. If you like my videos and want to support me, you can also go to my merchandise store, ytshop.com, or become a channel member. It starts at 99 cents per month, but there's also an early access tier and an exclusive content tier, which I'm going to link over here. Last way to support me and the whole YouTube platform is watching more videos. Link in the instant video over here. Thanks all for watching. Keep pushing, and bye-bye.